Well, welcome back. Carl Rominger here. Let's try something here. Oh, that's a local number. I can't do it that way, can I?
We're sorry. Your call did not go through.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Let's try it again. Let's see. 7. I'm going to hold a Shane here. He went to Las Vegas.
Everyone, it's Shane Clark. I'm not here right now. If you can leave me a name and your number at the tone, get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you. Bye.
At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options. To leave a callback number, press 5.
Shane, dude, it's Carl. I don't know what happened, but some soccer kids called. You kind of missed a game or something. Give me a call quick on my cell phone. We'll get you there. I don't know what's going on, dude. Bye. All right, anyhow. He's a soccer coach. We'll see how that works on him. He's in Vegas, so he's probably still passed out, if I had to guess. A young man in Vegas. How jealous am I? Ray, you're on WHP 580.
Hi, Carl.
Hey.
Hey, I got a question for you. I got a situation where I got two tickets.
Yeah.
They were 2 different days, same location, same stop sign.
Oh, I thought maybe you were going to tell me you had 2 tickets to a good show and you were invited.
No.
All right,
no.
okay.
The first one, I didn't get anything. I just had to pay it. I paid it because I knew I drifted through it.
Gotcha.
I didn't see the cop. He pulls me over, doesn't give me a warning, gives me a ticket. Almost a month to the day, the same thing happens again at the same stop sign, same time of the morning. It's a bad intersection. It's that, I don't know if you've ever been up here, but it's down there at the end of 274 where you make a right and go on to 11 and 15, where you've got that weird where the people can cross in front of you without stopping.
Yeah.
The second time I didn't read the small print, the very, very small print, and I guess the second time he decided to give me a same type infraction, but this one carried 3 points.
Okay.
Now, I paid both of them, admitted guilt, blah, blah, blah. I went online. If I'd have known in advance, I wouldn't have admitted guilt. I would have tried to fight it because now I got to wait a year, as I understand it, to get the 3 points off. Is there any way to get them off sooner?
Well, if it's been less than 30 days since you pled guilty, you can appeal it. Other than that, you're stuck. And your story is a classic story. I remind people of this all the time is don't just plead guilty because you never know what the points are going to be. Number 2, your first offense, maybe that one had no points, it sounds like.
It didn't.
And if it's written up right, but, you got...
And he could have written me up the same way. I felt under the circumstances they were being petty, but what are you going to do?
Right. Well, what you usually do is you take a hearing, we make sure you don't get any points, and that's the problem. When you get these tickets, you got to pay attention. I have all the time people come to see me, and they're like, well, I got this ticket, and I sent it in, and I sent this other ticket in, I sent this one in, now PennDOT's saying they're going to get my license, or I have to go take a class, and I'm saying, you should have hired me on ticket 1, because now I have to beat the last one, okay?
Yeah.
On the other hand, I might have been able to negotiate 1 and 2 or win 1 or 2 or whatever. Plus, they show up in your driver's record. So keeping them off your driver's record is good, too, because that way the police don't make a judgment call about your driving habits based on what their computer screen is showing them.
Right.
Yeah. All right, my friend, you're stuck. Stuck with the points.
Yeah, now I got a second question.
Yeah, okay.
I had an accident about a year ago. Trying to avoid hitting a deer.
Okay.
Rolled my car and totaled it. Fortunately, I wasn't killed, but because if I had been, the odds are nobody would have ever known what happened. The first thing out of the mouth of the cop that got to the scene was, "Why didn't you hit the deer?" Now, I was going to ask him, would you have felt the same way if that had been a person standing in the middle of the road?
Well, here's the answer on that one. There's not a good answer to that dilemma because I can think of a fatality just in the last year that involved a deer going through a windshield of a car.
I know one too. The fact it was the 2 days after I had mine, this guy, that's what they had. The deer came over the median and went right through the windshield and killed his passenger. Yeah,
that's probably the same incident I'm thinking of. And I can tell you something. The only thing I can tell you is you got to make a judgment call. Is it maneuverable? Can I? What's the best thing to do?
Well, it was an instantaneous reaction, and
Right.
then the left rear wheel of my car broke off.
And here's the other thing you need to know, right? When you put your brakes on, do you know what the nose of your car does? It goes down.
Yep, that's right. I
So
didn't hit my brakes.
if you want to hit a deer, I mean, the best technique for hitting a deer, just in case, and I've been thinking this through since I was a kid, as a 16-year-old driver in deer country, is you smash your brakes, and then about 10 yards before you hit the deer, you let go so that rebound on the nose of the car pushes up, and that way you hit the deer as high as possible and lower the chance of him coming over the hood.
I was in a sports car to begin with.
Yeah, which is like now in my pickup truck, I'm probably going to hit the deer on purpose and then go pick it up and throw it in the back. But that's different, right?
Yeah. Now, my insurance company ruled it as an accident because they couldn't find evidence of the deer strike.
Yeah, you had the phantom deer.
Well, you know, they have this print at the bottom of these forms. You know, it's against state law, you know, to lie about, you know, insurance matters, insurance fraud. But it's okay for them to tell you you're a liar because you said you were trying to avoid hitting the deer.
Right. I know. Trust me. That's the phantom car. They always get skeptical. You swerve to avoid what? What? Oh, was there really something there?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
But
All right, Ray.
I didn't have any witness with me or anything.
Ray, it sounds like you should just stay out of cars.
Yeah.
All right, my friend. I got to go.
Thank you.
540-0580. Mark, you're on the air.
Hey, Carl. First question is,
Yep.
you get stopped at a traffic stop. Police officer can't validate your information. He puts you in handcuffs and takes you down to the state police barracks. Are you considered under arrest?
Well, you are under a functional equivalent of arrest when he puts you in handcuffs and takes you from the scene. But when you say you can't validate your information, how's that a basis for an arrest?
Right. And I asked the trooper, I said, am I under arrest? He said, no, you're being detained. But then he took me from the vehicle, and long story short, I didn't have my wallet on me.
Right.
I was in the car, had my firearm on me. I let him know, or actually, as soon as he came up to the car, he opens the door to the vehicle and asked me to step out. I stepped out. He then sees the gun on me, puts my hands on the side of the vehicle, and puts me in handcuffs. Then takes the gun off of me and says, where's your wallet? I said, oh, it's in my pocket. I said, I have a permit to carry this. Well, unbeknownst to me, I forgot my wallet at home, trying to give him the information. Well, I bought the gun probably like 2 weeks before, and when they registered it through Pennsylvania State Police, they mixed some numbers up. And so the gun wasn't coming back in my name. So, of course, he thinks it's a stolen gun. He doesn't have identification on me.
But here's the problem. But none of this amounts to an arrestable offense, okay? Because I'll give you an example. Since there's no gun registry in Pennsylvania, right?
Sure.
Then not every gun should come back out of their database.
Sure.
So,
well, this trooper's freaking on me, and I'm very, courteous with them. I mean,
Mark, here's what I want you to do. You got a pen?
Right. Yes, sir.
I want you to write down a number. Okay?
Okay, go ahead.
This is for a lawyer named Vincent Manfredo.
Okay.
It's a 717-585-2064.
2064.
585-2064. That's attorney Vinny Manfredo. He specializes in civil rights issues involving the government, okay?
Right.
And, I shouldn't say specializes. He practices those areas, I think was the word.
Well, my base question is him removing me and putting me in the back of the trooper car. At the end of the day, it all came out. I mean, he let
Yeah,
me
but
go
you were
night.
detained and maybe illegally arrested and your civil rights were violated.
Right, because I said, well, don't you have to read me any rights? And he said, no, you're not under arrest.
Well, he's not
well,
arrested.
I'm obviously not free to go.
Right. You were in the functional equivalent of arrest, my friend. And had he tried to use a statement you made post that against you, the judge would have said Miranda applied. Call Vinny at that number, 585-2064. Talk with him. You may have some rights to vindicate here, okay?
Okay, absolutely. Hey, I appreciate the call.
Thank you, man. All right, I'll see you after break, and we'll talk to Danny about his tree issue down there in Dillsburg. I sometimes think that Shane thinks he's Vanilla Ice. I can't prove it. I do. I got a Facebook comment here. Can you comment on the case of the Penn Township police chief who was caught for DUI and ran a stop sign? The other day, a caller on KM's show, that must be Ken Matthews' show, called and said, when you're caught for a moving violation, the BAC becomes lower. The answer is the BAC for whether you get caught for your DUI blowing a stop sign or at a checkpoint or because your neighbor calls you in and you're drunk in your driveway, your penalties are all the same. And your BAC levels and level of proof are all the same. The only thing that changes the BAC is if you're a commercial driver driving a truck or you're a youth under the age of 21, and the BACs are lower. But getting caught for a moving violation. Now, if you are fleeing and eluding, which is a felony to start with, we lost our tree guy, by the way, because he doesn't know patience. If you're fleeing and eluding and you're a DUI, then it's a felony, which is why if you are going to flee and elude and you're drunk, you shouldn't get caught because it enhances the penalties. I guess if you don't get caught, there's no penalty for fleeing and eluding. I guess we call that fled and eluded. But that's not actually a charge. Patty, you're on WHP 580 with Carl Rominger. What's going on?
Hi. They're repossessing my house.
Okay.
Is it legal for them to just call me and tell me to get out, or do they have to serve papers on me?
Well, let me ask you this question. When you say repossessing your house, you mean like foreclosing on your mortgage or literally repossessing a trailer?
I live in a mobile home.
Okay. So it's really technically repossession. I just want to clarify that. The answer is you're still under the landlord-tenant law, okay? And because you're in a mobile home, you're also under the Mobile Home Act, which gives you a little bit better terms sometimes if, for instance, you're being evicted from a park and you need to move your trailer. Here, though, somebody wants to take your trailer and repossess it. I think they still have to evict you from it, okay?
Okay.
So in order to evict you from it, they're going to have to go to a district judge. They give you a notice to quit, written notice to quit, and then when you don't leave the premise, I think they have to go to the district judge and get an order kicking you out of it. I think. I haven't had somebody in an actual repossession situation who's actually living in the mobile home at the time, so I haven't actually thought this problem through 100%, but that's my belief. Generally speaking, we don't let people, landlords in particular, just walk over and kick somebody out. In fact, they have to use a constable, but before they can use the constable, they have to get the judge to give the order, and that's the way it works.
But don't they usually give you a certain amount of days to get out?
Well, they have to give you what's called a notice to quit, okay? Which is so much time. It would saying be out by this date or this time. And then if you're still not out, they can't just throw you out on your ear. They have to go to a court, and the judge has to have a hearing and make determinations, and then time has to run for the appeal period before the constable can throw you out on your ear.
Okay. Well, what my mortgage company is doing is he called me and told me I had to get out. The following week, he called me and said, "What date can you be out by?" I said, "I don't know. I didn't see no legal papers, no nothing."
Right. So, you can say, give me something in writing. But what he's trying to do is work with you, it sounds like. He's trying to maybe giving you the benefit of the doubt, saying, when can you be out? Now, here's my advice. You better come up with a plan, right?
Yeah.
And you better figure out how to get out of there. So that would be my advice.
Okay.
All right? But they can't literally throw you out in their ear until there's a court order.
Okay.
All right?
All right, thank you.
All right. Looking for a free lunch. Oh, there's no legal paperwork. I'm just going to stay here. Well, okay. If you can squat for a year, why not? That's what a lot of people did. Remember when the mortgages all went to hooey? A lot of people simply just stopped paying the mortgage and stayed in the house until they eventually got them and waxed them out of there. It's a viable strategy. Sometimes it makes sense if you have nowhere else to go. On the other hand, when somebody calls up and says, when can you be out? That's sort of an invitation to say, if you have a plan to get out of here, and you're going to do it voluntarily, and we don't have to go through a messy legal entanglement, that we'll do it that way. So, is this Mike in Lebanon? Mike?
Hey, Carl, how you been, man?
Good, man. How are you?
Can't complain. I mean, I want to complain, but then nobody wants to hear you bitch and moan,
It's true.
All right, so anyway, now here's my question for you.
Yes.
Let's say I know of a minor that is being, abused or hit or whatever.
Okay.
Is it legal to put that child up to recording by way of, say, a cell phone or some type of recording device to catch the parent or, whatever actually happens in the house. Is that legal to do?
Well, under Pennsylvania's laws, the answer is no, right? Because you can't secretly record somebody.
What? What was that?
I don't know. That's this new system here. I don't know.
I think that's the NSA.
It's the NSA. Well, by the way, were you listening earlier when the guy named Jack called in and said, you would know I'm not pro-law enforcement if you knew what I had planned for Obama?
Wow.
Were you listening when he said that? Now, we were joking during the break that, the black helicopters are going to swoop down and either grab him or grab us, or,
right.
Some guy's going to be here demanding But then, as Art and I refined our logic, we realized that the NSA, since they're already recording all the calls and they already know what every number is dialing into every other number, right?
Right.
They don't actually have to come here to find out, like who called in and who was that you put on the air. They already know.
Ah, they already know. Yeah, they're ahead of the curve.
They're ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
Anyhow.
Go ahead, though.
So no, I don't think you can do the recording or put the kid up to it.
In other words, and let me get a little bit more insightful here. So in other words, if an adult puts the kid up to it to record, that's actually illegal.
Well, because you are enticing a minor to break the law, so you're probably guilty of corrupting the morals of a minor.
Right.
Yes. So no worries. Your friends cannot put your kid up to recording you.
Okay. Well, all right. Hey, it sounds good.
All right, Mike. Thanks.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Think about that, though. Here in Pennsylvania, theoretically, if you want to do the nanny cam, right, but you have sound with it, that may be illegal. Now, it only applies where people have no expectation of privacy. So maybe you could successfully argue that my nanny has no expectation of privacy in my living room when babysitting my kid. I think that's a pretty good argument. That no expectation of privacy is the wiggle room in the recording statute, which is why I can walk down through Capona with my video camera running and videotape the Native Americans getting harassed by the Fish Commission for selling turtle parts, and it's just me, videotaping in public. And why did that come to mind? I don't know, except that, leave it to the Fish Commission. You have a turtle. You have a piece of a turtle. You may not sell a piece of a turtle. The same thing with any of these other, you put some deer hair in there. You may not sell the deer hair, or you put, you have wood duck, huh? You want to sell the wood duck piece? Oh, no, you must not sell a fly made with wood duck. So what I do is when I occasionally shoot a wood duck is I give the feathers to these fly tiers so those poor guys can tie some wood duck flies with the feathers. I wonder if that's illegal. I wonder if I'm conspiring. I don't think it's being for sale, so who knows? And then I think about when I was a Boy Scout, when we used to have those eagle feather, headdresses that we would wear when we would pretend to be Native Americans for certain ceremonies. And I don't know how much that still goes on in the Scouts these days or not, but I always wonder, what if we used real eagle feathers? Would we go to jail for that? And I know somebody somewhere is like, well, where are these real eagle feathers? Because we're going to find them. All this stuff about animal parts, or how about the whale bones? You got some nice... whale ivory you want to make something out of. You can't have that. You can't have the tusks. You want to go on safari. You want to bring some parts back. Can you bring them back? I want to shoot a polar bear. Can I bring the polar bear back? I mean, it go crazy, right? Absolutely freaking nuts. And then I was actually driving into Sierra Nevada one time, like the Lake Tahoe, one of the rare times I was out west. And, you stop at this fruit declaration booth. They want to know, do you have any fruits or vegetables in the car you want to declare? And I'm like, well, I've got one vegetable and one fruit, but that's everybody who's driving here, all right? Anyhow, when I get back from break, we'll answer some more of your legal questions, 540-0580, and maybe we'll see if we can get Mama Rominger on the phone. Welcome back. Let's see if we can get my mom on. I want to talk to her about this healthcare website. If you like your plan, you can keep your plan. If you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. I know they've been beating this to death on the radio the last couple of days, but I have been on Facebook too, because we talked about this. Remember, we talked about this before, that you're not going to be able to keep your plan. Everybody kind of knew that, but all the Democrats kept claiming that, no, that's not what that really meant.
Whatever.
Your call has been forwarded to an auto.
Oh, see, she's not around. We'll find her. We'll find her yet. Let's try. Maybe we should try her other number. This was my home number. I tried her cell phone. You know, you would think that your cell phone would be charged up, but when they get to a certain age and they get past the, you know, they forget to keep the cell phone charged or keep it on them. So maybe she'll answer the home phone. So it's the same number I've been memorized when I was a kid. You know, I was supposed to memorize that number so that if something bad happened to me, I would know how to get hold of my mother. So it still works. She hasn't changed it in all those years. Let's see if we can get her. Come on, Mom. Answer the phone. I want to hear what you have to say about Obamacare. I know you've talked about it before.
Please leave a message after the tone.
I'll leave her a quick message. I guess this is my mother's house with that very personalized message that she has. Mom, we want to know what you think about Obamacare. You're on the air? No? All right. Hope nothing bad happened to her, you know? Well, never know. What, Art? What do you mean? She's old. I mean, you got to worry about these things. How are we going to get some more recipes out of her? I got a bunch of recipes, by the way, and we're putting them together into a cookbook, and Shane's working on that. But instead, no, he's in Las Vegas, partying it down, having a good time. 540-0580 if you want to get on the air here, by the way. If you have a legal question you want to talk about, or you want to comment on if you have, I just shared from Ken Matthews' page. If you like your children, you can keep your children. It's a picture of Barack Obama and some Nazis, and it's probably a little Anne Frank being run off. And I'm not laughing at that because actually I put up on my Facebook yesterday a picture of Bill and Hillary Clinton, who were two of the first 6 people to sign up for Obamacare on the first day. They were 2 of the 6. And they're doing their little Zig Heil salute that they used to do at their little Democrat convention. So if you want to see that, I've got that. It's actually a real picture of Bill and Hillary doing the Zig Heils when they were signing up for Obamacare, or maybe before that. We just threw the Obamacare part in there. But nonetheless, I'm deadly serious about that, by the way, that I am so worried about how this is going to play out. They are destroying healthcare. I'm glad that people are finally figuring it out. And, you know, I don't think it's a coincidence that nobody was able to sign up or find out. Remember they said, oh, yeah, there's no way to browse the prices unless you sign up, because they didn't want anybody to be able to go on there and start shopping around and go, holy smokes. Oh, yeah, by the way, the other thing is, oh, yeah, your premium is going to be $150 less a month, and you're going to get a $150 credit against that in your taxes at the end of the year. But yeah, by the way, your deductible went from $2,000 to $8,000. So you still have savings as long as you don't get sick. Mary, you're on the WHP 580 with Carl Rominger. You have a question about Windows?
Yes.
Is this Windows 98 or Windows XP?
Before the Windows, I have to tell you about something that you gave me some advice.
All right.
I called you about a class action suit by AT&T and if I should even bother to send my name in.
Yeah.
Well, I got my check.
How much did you get?
7 cents.
7 cents?
Yes, a check.
Now, wait a minute. How much did you stamp to send it in, or was it free?
It was free.
Okay. I was going to say, otherwise you'd be down like 35 cents based on my math.
I can't believe it. I'm going to frame it.
Yeah.
But anyhow, in regards to the tinted windows, here's what I really dislike. Say you pull into a parking space, and when you come out, you're sandwiched in there between 2 cars, and usually they're big SUVs.
Right.
With tinted windows. You can't pull out. You can't see anything because you're in there. You have to back out. I always have to ask the pedestrian to help me.
Yeah, I appreciate that. But I still don't want the government seeing inside my car.
Okay, well, thanks.
I might be in there loading loading firearms or counting illegal money or or cutting up my drugs, you know, all those things that I don't want the government to see. Or I might just be sitting there listening to WHP 580, which I'm sure is another one of those activities they don't want you doing. Let's see. I can't pick that one up yet. All right. Megan, you want to talk about Obamacare? Megan.
Oh, hi there. Sorry. Yeah, that just came up. And by the way, I did see your Facebook page, the picture of the Clintons, and they look like the Gary Busey picture, you know, like Gary Busey eyes.
Yeah, they do have Gary Busey, Hillary especially in that picture.
She does. Yeah, that's what I meant to say.
Did you hear R.J. Harris on Halloween doing the scariest celebrities?
No, I missed it.
Well, yeah, he did that in the morning, and I posted right away because Gary Busey was not on the list of scariest celebrities. I cannot imagine that anybody created a list of scary celebrities. He borrowed it from somewhere, 13 scariest celebrities. And Miley Cyrus was on it, which I think she's just creepiest celebrities. And Gary Busey's always should be on that list. He should be like number 3 or better on any given list. But anyhow, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But he's brilliant. He really has. I think he's really got a brilliant mind. It might be full of holes from all the drugs he's done.
Did you see him on Celebrity Apprentice?
I did.
Yes.
He surprised me.
When he and Meatloaf were going to fight it out, I was so kind of excited.
Doesn't take much to entertain you, does it, Carl?
It does not. What do you want to know about Obamacare? You want to get some? You have some? You need some?
No, I don't want anything that has to do with Obama. So you can just read between the lines there. But no, I really wasn't planning on calling in, but the subject came up. I just haven't heard much about how our doctors, our physicians are thinking about all this. It seems like that sector of this has been, everybody's got an opinion, but I haven't heard these doctors going out and really saying, this is just going to destroy our industry, or what we do, or, we like it or we don't like it. I can't imagine that they're going to come out farther than what they are now with the private insurance industry being what it is. I mean, I don't know a whole lot about the inner workings, but it doesn't.
Let me explain it this way. Insurance companies squeeze on both ends, okay? That's how insurance works. They want to get money from you, and they want to pay less out on the back end.
Right.
Now, when you force insurance companies into a model of business that's even less profitable than previously, okay, where they're no longer allowed to squeeze out services, let's say, or allowed to sell plans to single adult males that don't include maternity coverage, right? What they have to do on the back end to try to make money is pay out even less than before. So when they're being squeezed to add things to it, so the doctors will feel this, trust me. They're going to go to them and say, your reimbursement rate goes down. The other problem is actually as more people get insured, or at least theoretically, if they're on less insurance plans. So in some states, for instance, they've dropped a lot of plans and there's only, say, 6 available on the exchange. The bargaining power with the doctors increases as well, which is, hey, if you don't join our network, then you can't have any of these patients. And if you can't have any of these patients, or you want any of these patients, you're going to have to accept them. So Walmart, sort of like what Walmart did to a lot of the suppliers, there's a joke that if you're a small company and you finally get your product, to Walmart, great for you, except that you won't make any money on 1 million units because they push your price down so low. So I suspect that doctors are going to find that they get even less money at the end of the day out of Obamacare, I think. But,
well, that's my thought, too. And all this time, when some of these decent men that have actually been standing up and being slaughtered by their own party, trying to get this thing stopped, get this thing stopped in its tracks, or at least get it halted and gain some, just gain some ground here, is that you would think, just in my mind, I just would think that these doctors and medical professionals would be out just rioting against.
I think they're scared. Listen,
I wondered, yeah.
Just like the insurance companies, we've heard some leaks, basically, but the insurance companies have been keeping mum about a lot of the bad things here because people think they're being pressured by the administration or tortured by the administration in the background. And here's the answer. The federal government, we already know that the IRS, right, was out beating up on organizations at the behest of the president. Well, if you're a large insurance company, they can audit you too, or they can criminally charge you with something. Prosecutors can chase you around. The executive branch has unbelievable power. Oh, you're a doctor? Oh, you overprescribe painkillers. The DEA is investigating you.
Yeah.
Or did you just happen to vocally speak out against Obamacare?
We're kind of back to, people laugh, but, you're back to communist Russia,
Well, listen, I mean, they're like the NSA abuses, those stem all the way back through Bush, probably even Clinton before. Oh, it was just on autopilot. Listen, the government's out of control, absolutely out of control, particularly the federal government. The state government isn't much better. We need to rein the governments back in, but good luck.
Amen. Amen. Well, listen, that was just something that has been in the back of my brain, and I just don't hear very many people talking about it, and the subject came up, so I thought I'd take yours.
I think the interesting thing is you notice the doctors aren't out in favor of it either.
That's true.
And I think that's as telling as anything else, because generally the American Medical Association and those guys have no problem coming out, even, saying, for instance, they'll say something controversial like guns are bad, or or do this or do that, or they're out fighting for against Texas abortion laws and things like that. So they're not afraid to take a stand that might not be popular with some constituencies if they feel it's medically right, or if they feel that it's in their best interest. But they haven't really been out leading the way to say this is a great thing at this point. So they're either one of two things. They're either not real happy with it, or they're still not sure how it's going to pan out.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, thank you, Carl. I appreciate it, and you have a good weekend.
All right, thanks. 540-0580. See you after the break. Welcome back. Carl Rominger here. I want to remind you, if you need us throughout the week, feel free to call 717-241-6070. Again, 717-241-6070. You can look us up on the web, RomingerLaw.com, or Carl with a K, Rominger on Facebook. There's only about 4 Carl Romingers on Facebook. And the guy holding the toque or whatever, those things are the kid holding that's not me. Okay? So I've got some pizza. Actually, I've got some Pizza Boy beer and pizza from Al's over there up on my page, so you'll know you're on the right page. Now, Pizza Boy beer is pretty darn good. The other thing, I had a really good Reuben, by the way, from the Southside Deli in Carlisle, and they moved from behind my office to downtown. But if you get a chance and you're in Carlisle, stop in the Southside Deli and tell them I sent you. Say, hey, Billy, Carl sent me. I'll test it. Maybe he'll get me a free sandwich. Rick, what's going on? Hey, Rick.
Yeah.
What do you want to do? You want to sell the lottery?
Yeah, Carl, I'm just a little puzzled over something.
Yeah.
Well, when Corbett awarded it to a Canadian company, the unions and the Attorney General, even one day you made a comment about, oh yeah, he's giving those jobs to Canadians. Where's all the screaming going on now? About Obamacare, awarding it to a Canadian company that was
how they spent $500 million to make something that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I'm just wondering where all the unions are now. Why aren't they screaming about Obamacare being
because they're
awarded to a Canadian company?
I actually will go out on a limb here and suggest that the people who hold jobs that make websites usually aren't unionized.
Okay.
So it wouldn't even if it stayed in America, it wouldn't have been in a union shop. Here's the answer. I mean, you can't spend more money on something that doesn't work. But all right, I got to tell you guys something. This reminded me. CMS, right? Center for Medicaid and Medicare Services.
Yeah.
I deal with those people. Okay. I deal with those people because here's what happens. I do these personal injury cases, and somebody comes in the office and they're in a car wreck or whatever, and we got to get their Medicare lien, right? So we have to send off to CMS. So you have to get this letter and payment letter, and it's the whole way it works. But I'm going to go back about 2 years now, maybe 3. I forget when it was. I have a case where there was a fatality, and I send a letter, and there was a $30,000 lien or something like this, okay? And that's the initial letter, but I need the final letter. I need this special letter from CMS, okay? And it doesn't come, and I call, and it says, you're number 312 on the list, and the music plays, and 10 minutes later it tells you you're number 301, and anyhow, about an hour and a half later, you get on the phone with somebody, right? Oh, yeah, it's in process. It's in process. Well, then you finally talk to somebody another day, right? It's in process, and you say, why do you keep telling us it's in process? Well, we're temporarily not processing any of these. What do you mean you're temporarily not processing these? Well, they're revamping the computer system and da-da-da-da-da. So I talked to this woman from Nationwide Insurance out in the middle of the country, okay, who does the major cases. And I go, yeah, I'm waiting for this letter, and apparently it's not going to come for a while. And they're like, yeah, they're going to pay the policy limit, okay? So we got $30,000 for CMS. All they need to do is send a letter saying that, yes, they're owed $30,000 because we need the special letter, and then everybody's happy. Because it has to be the special letter. Otherwise, the lawyer and the insurance company and everybody involved could become personally liable for the lien, okay? None of us want to risk that. So then she tells me she has about 100 files on hold waiting for the CMS letters because they're not issuing them right now. And I said, yeah, I know. That's what we were just talking about. So, and now she's the major case lady, okay? So you think about it. She's probably got, 30,000, 50,000, 100,000, who knows, times 100 in money available for the federal government as reimbursements for Medicaid and Medicare money that they've spent. And all CMS has to do is process the letters. But they sat on them for like 9 months. And I said, this is what I said. I said, it's good to know that government-run health care is incapable of collecting money that's owed to them when people are trying to pay it to them. Okay? But they're the same people who built the website. So do I sound surprised?
No.
Yeah, no. The answer is those idiots couldn't even take money when you tried to give it to them.
Carl, you're backpedaling on me, though.
What? Which part?
Where's the unions and everybody crying over a Canadian company?
Listen,
getting out of war
the leader, the immaculated one, as I think Rush calls him or whatever he is.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking something else. He is not, capable of reproach by the unions.
Yeah, I know.
And I guarantee you, he's beating the unions with a baseball bat in the back room somewhere, or promised them something. And they've probably sold they have sold their soul on this thing already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I happen to be in a business where Corbett's going to bring a couple thousand. That company's going to bring in a couple thousand and hire a couple thousand Pennsylvanians to run it. And that doesn't get out in the press either.
Yeah, no, and here's my thing with this whole selling the lottery thing. I'm always skeptical of how these things actually become more profitable for the
went down, yeah.
For the state. On the other hand, if that's the case, then maybe that's how incompetent the running of it currently is. But I don't know. I think the lottery and those guys, like one who makes a lot of money, I'll tell you what, is like the LCB, the state store guys.
Yeah.
They bring in a lot of money. And they do a pretty good job of it. I don't think they're I just wonder where the lottery really is, but I have no idea because I have no idea how to evaluate how much more money a state lottery can make. I can tell you the other thing though is they want to add what a Keno game because that's part of the profitability plan.
In the bars, yep.
But at the same time, the legislature is also going to open up small games of chance to the bars, which then may cut into the Keno. So I don't know. Here's the problem, because government doesn't act like a business, okay? If it was Procter & Gamble and two divisions were creating a product that was going to do the same thing and try to market it in the same stores at the same price, somebody in the company would say, we're going to work this out, but we're not doing, we're not selling both of these soaps at the same place at the same price at the same time. But our legislature may do that with the lottery, which is we'll sell the lottery, we'll base the enhanced revenue and all this stuff on this plan to add Keno, but then while we're at it, we'll add a competing product in the same venues because we ain't that smart.
Yeah. Well, if it was such a bad idea with the lottery and the LCB, too bad we're only one of the two states left.
The answer is, but I can tell you that, like I say, I look at the LCB and they actually do run it pretty well. I'm not anti. Here's what I can't understand. It boggles my brain. I grew up in New York. If I want to go eat dinner and get a beer, any restaurant that wants to serve me beer pays like $400. They get a license and they serve me beer. The people here in Pennsylvania don't drink any less, but you can only go to 4 bars in any given town to get your dinner and have a beer with it.
Right.
I mean, what if I want to have a beer with my breakfast? Why can't McDonald's give me a beer with my Egg McMuffin like they do in Germany? Yeah.
What happens if you want to walk to Rutter's and get a 6-pack of beer?
Right. No, you can't do that. Or you can buy a case at some other. I always find it funny to listen to the car show guys in Carlisle getting their explanation on beer and how they can get it and where they can get it and what they can do, and they always look at you like kind of crazy. All right, I better take one more caller here.
All right, buddy. Good.
Thanks, Rick.
You.
Let's see. Dick.
Hello.
Hey.
Yes. I had a situation in early July where a code, or actually a person acting as code officer, walked onto my property and just started looking around. Is this legal?
Well, the open fields exception, if he comes into your house, that would be an illegal entry, but just walking around the open areas of your curtilage is probably not something that you can get any redress for. You can certainly ask him to leave. Then he can go get an administrative warrant to come back on your land.
Well, I ended up embarrassing him very politely by showing him around. And they were acting he was acting, actually this was a acting code officer that was leaving and walking around with a new code officer.
Interesting. Out of time, my friend. All right, guys, I'll be back next week. In the meantime, go to RomingerLaw.com, look me up on Facebook, or call the office 717-241-6070, 717-241-6070. As always, if you can hear the signal, we can handle your legal problems, and it's always an honor to have you in the office. Take care. God bless.